March 24, 1998. The Royal Caribbean cruise ship Rhapsody of the Seas was slicing through the calm waters of the Caribbean Sea. It was supposed to be a vacation, a celebration of family and sunshine. But for one family, it turned into a living nightmare. Amy Lynn Bradley, a vibrant 23-year-old, vanished from the ship without a trace. What happened that night remains one of the most haunting unsolved cases on the high seas. This isn't just another missing person case. It's a mystery layered with possible cover-ups, suspicious behaviors, and chilling sightings that stretch over years. Let's break down what really happened and why the name Amy Bradley still sends shivers down the spines of those who dare to dig deeper. Amy Bradley was a recent college graduate from Virginia, intelligent, athletic, and fiercely independent. Her family decided to take a Caribbean cruise to celebrate her graduation. Amy, her parents Ron and Iva, and her younger brother Brad boarded the Rhapsody of the Seas on March 21st, 1998, departing from San Juan, Puerto Rico. The cruise seemed perfect. The family danced, drank, took photos, and enjoyed the tropical air. Amy was photographed laughing, enjoying cocktails, and making memories. But those memories would soon become pieces of a dark puzzle. On the night of March 23rd, Amy and her brother attended a party in one of the ship's lounges. She was last seen around 5:30 a.m. on March 24th, sitting on the cabin balcony with Brad. He went to bed, assuming she'd follow. She never did. When the family woke up a few hours later, Amy was gone. Her family immediately sounded the alarm. But according to them, the ship's crew didn't take it seriously. The ship docked in Curacao that morning, and passengers were allowed to disembark before a proper search of the ship had even started. Ron Bradley pleaded with the captain to make a ship-wide announcement, but the request was denied. The reason? The cruise line claimed it might alarm passengers. By the time a full search was conducted, it was too late. If Amy had been taken off that ship, she was already long gone. Even more disturbing, Amy's shoes were found in the cabin, but she was nowhere to be found. Surveillance footage showed her walking the corridors at night, but there was no sign of her disembarking. It was as if she vanished into thin air. What Amy's parents revealed later would only deepen the mystery. Ron recalled that several crew members had taken an odd interest in Amy. One even tried to get her to go ashore with him in Aruba. Another, known as Yellow from the ship's dance band Blue Orchid, was reportedly dancing with her just hours before her disappearance. Even more chilling, some of the crew had taken photos of Amy without her knowledge. The vibe was off. It wasn't just a missing persons case anymore. It started feeling predatory. The family began to believe Amy had been watched, perhaps even targeted. Initial theories floated around. Had Amy fallen overboard? Committed suicide? But the Bradley family quickly dismissed these. Amy was a trained lifeguard and a strong swimmer. She had no history of mental illness or depression, and her excitement for a new job starting after the cruise eliminated any suggestion of suicidal intent. Then came the alleged sightings. In 1999, a U.S. Navy officer claimed he saw Amy in a brothel in Curacao. The woman told him her name was Amy and begged for help before two men pulled her away. In 2005, a witness claimed to see a woman resembling Amy in Barbados. She had tattoos identical to Amy's and appeared frightened, accompanied by a handler. The Bradley family submitted these reports to the FBI. Still, nothing came of them. Experts on human trafficking weighed in. They theorized Amy may have been abducted and sold into sex trafficking. The cruise ship would have been the perfect place. No cameras in certain areas, easy access to secluded ports, and a multinational crew with connections in various countries. Amy's case began to resemble others involving disappearances at sea. And that's when a far more disturbing trend came to light. The cruise industry had a pattern of failing to report or investigate serious crimes properly. Royal Caribbean was accused of withholding information. They denied any wrongdoing, but refused to allow Amy's family access to certain parts of the ship or to interview staff members. Ron Bradley once said, "They know more than they're telling us." Over the years, the Bradley family received strange emails and tips, including an email from a man claiming to have seen Amy on a website for adult services. He sent a photo of a woman with green eyes and similar tattoos. The resemblance was haunting. Private investigators were hired. Even America's Most Wanted featured Amy's story multiple times, generating new leads. But nothing ever solidified. In 2005, the Bradley family offered a $250,000 reward for information leading to Amy's safe return, and later increased it to $1 million. Still, silence. Over 2 decades later, Amy Bradley remains missing. The FBI still lists her case as open. The Bradleys have never given up hope, but the years have taken a toll. Ron and Iva have spoken out publicly against the cruise line industry's lack of transparency and accountability. They've pushed for legislation to protect travelers and to ensure better reporting of crimes at sea. Their story, Amy's story, has become more than a family tragedy. It's a warning, a glaring light on the dark corners of international travel, where jurisdiction becomes murky and justice can get lost in the waves. As the Bradley family kept pushing, they began to uncover something even more unsettling. Amy was not the only person to vanish on a cruise ship. Dozens of passengers have mysteriously disappeared at sea, and in many of those cases, no formal investigation ever took place. Cruise ships operate in a loophole, international waters. The laws of the ship's flag nation, which is often not the U.S., usually apply. In Rhapsody of the Sea's case, the ship was registered in Liberia, a country with loose enforcement and little oversight. Amy's father, Ron, started asking questions no one wanted to answer. Why weren't all security camera tapes released? Why was the FBI denied immediate access to the full passenger and crew lists? Why did crew members begin avoiding the family, acting nervous? It wasn't just about Amy anymore. It was about a system built to protect corporations, not victims. And Ron wasn't alone in thinking this. In a twist that still sends chills down the spine, internet sleuths and investigators years later found that the ship's band member, Yellow, had left the cruise industry abruptly after the disappearance. Even stranger, he resurfaced under a different name playing in bars across South America. A journalist tracked him down in 2010 and attempted to interview him. He refused, but something about his eyes, nervous, evasive, left the journalist rattled. One theory emerged. Was Amy being watched for days before her disappearance? Was Yellow part of a trafficking ring connected to ports like Curacao or Aruba? A former crew member anonymously confirmed that sex trafficking connections existed at several Caribbean ports, with cruise crews sometimes acting as scouts. Amy, a tall, striking American woman with green eyes and visible tattoos, may have been the perfect target. In 2006, a new lead surfaced. A woman who had worked in a Caribbean club claimed she saw a woman named Amy in the early 2000s who said she was American and being held against her will. She described Amy's tattoos perfectly. A Tasmanian devil spinning a basketball on her shoulder, a green gecko on her stomach, and a Chinese symbol on her ankle. No one could have faked that. But before officials could investigate, the woman went missing too. Was someone silencing witnesses? Ron and Iva got a phone call from a block number months later. The voice said, "Your daughter is alive. Stop digging." They reported it to the FBI. The call was traced to a burner phone, untraceable beyond the Caribbean. A final, deeply disturbing image emerged in 2005 from a website used by traffickers. A user on a dark web forum posted a photo of a woman sitting on a bed, looking directly at the camera. Her eyes were wide, pleading. Her body language, frozen in fear. The photo was sent to Amy's parents. They gasped. Ron nearly dropped the image. "I know my daughter," he said, tears in his eyes. "That's Amy." The FBI was notified, and facial recognition analysis confirmed an 85% match. But the site vanished overnight. Whoever posted the photo deleted the account, wiped the servers, and disappeared. All the Bradley family was left with was a copy of the image, and more questions than answers. It's been over 2 decades since Amy Bradley vanished. Her room remains untouched in her parents' house. Her toothbrush still rests in the cup. Her favorite hoodie still smells like her perfume. Amy's parents once said, "You never bury your child when you don't know where they are. You just keep waiting." This isn't just a tragic mystery. It's a failure of systems, A story of powerful silence, and a glaring reminder how easy it is to disappear in the open seas, especially if someone wants you to. Amy didn't vanish. She was taken. And maybe someone watching this right now, you might know something. If the story affected you, don't stay silent. Like, share, subscribe. Most importantly, share Amy's face. Share her name. Share her story. Because awareness is the only weapon we have when justice stays quiet. This was Shocking Stories. Crime of Disappearance. Stay safe. Stay aware. And never stop asking, where's Amy Lynn Bradley?